Hi my loves, welcome to the channel Style by C. Today's tutorial will be on how to recreate this beautiful piece. Do subscribe to the channel, share to friends, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. So my loves, what we have here is our basic body. We have from the shoulder line to the half length, shoulder line to the bust line, shoulder line to the under bust. Then we have our dart line, which is 4 inches inwards, marks on our bust line, under bust and the half length. Under bust, you're going to mark 1.25 inches outward. That is the side of our pattern paper, same on our half length. Then on the under bust inwards, I'm going to mark 1 inch. That is the center. Same on the half length. Now go ahead and connect these 2 points together. And this is what we have. Now I'll use the cuff part of this rope to connect to my bust line. And this is what's happening. The next step to do now is you're going to come over to our shoulder line and divide what we have left on the slope, okay, from our neck width to the slope into 2 to get the midpoint. Now from the midpoint, you're going to connect to your bust line. And this is what I have, okay? The next thing to do now is you're going to determine your over bust. To get your over bust, measure what you have between your under bust and your bust line. Divide it into 2. From your chest line, you go up by whatever you have. Alright? So now, if I should do that, I'll have 1.5 inches, and this is going to be my chest line. But it's going to be very down for me. Okay? It's going to show my cleavage, which I do not want to show. So I'm going to place my tape on my shoulder line and go ahead and mark 6 inches. At 6 inches, that's where I want my over bust to be. And this is what I have. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to tighten this over bust. To do that, I'm going to mark 0.75 inches on both sides, which is going to serve as my dart leg, and I'm going to connect it to my bust line. And this is what I have. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and mark our actual body measurements. So in the chest line, I'm going to mark my body measurement, my bust measurement, and my waistline. I'll also do the same thing. Now we have these extras we're taking off. We're going to be adding it back to the pattern paper. So for the waist, we have 2.25. We'll add it back to our pattern paper. Please note that these are not seam allowance. These are what we have on the paper. What we removed, we're adding it back to our paper. And this is what I have. Now I'm going to come over here. I have 1.5 inches. I'm going to be adding it back to my pattern paper in a slant form at this point. So from here, I'm going to place my tape in a slanty form. I'm going to put it. And I'll go ahead to trace my angle measurements. And this is what we have. Okay. The next step now is to determine how deep you want your sweetheart neckline to be. For me, I want it to be on my chest line, which is here. You can decide to keep it 1 inch below your chest line. So from this dart leg now, I'm going to be this center dart leg. I'm going to be connecting to that point using the curved part of my rope to crease. And this is what I have. Okay. Now the next thing we have to do now is we're going to be marking our yoke area of our dress. So to do that, all you have to do is from your neck width, which is here, you're going to be connecting to this point where you have your dart intake for your over bust. So from here now, go ahead and connect these 2 points together. And this is what I have. Now I'll go ahead to cut out this piece. Please note that we did not put our stitching allowance to this dress and we did not put our seam allowance. By transferring this to fabric, we'll cut those pieces out. So this for the center piece and this for the side piece. So for the side piece now, I think instead of going to waste this paper, let me just use it and add my seam allowance, my body seam allowance to it. So I'm using 2 inches of my seam allowance. I'll go ahead and mark it here. This you can also do on your fabric. And this is what we have. Now for this area, we cut it out. We'll still come back to this not being equal, right? But at the meantime, this is what our bustier will look like. Now we're going to go ahead to transfer this to our fabrics. So loves, this is my bustier pieces. I'm going to go ahead to join them together, okay? Same thing I'm doing here, same thing I'm going to do on my lining piece. The next thing we're going to work on is on the yoke, and this is what we have as our yoke. Now our yoke had pleating, okay, so I'm going to be using this as my pleating. Please do not mind the volume of my pleating. I'm trying to economize the fabric because I want to use these edges, this English mouth for the edge, okay? I do not want to fold it, but what we have in the thumbnail was folded, but I don't want mine to be folded. Like, I don't want to turn it out with another lace. I want to use what I have here, okay? That is what I'm trying to fit it on. So I'm going to be using this pin. I'm going to go ahead and pleat it. I'm creating that pleat. Need to iron it down. So loves, this is what we have. Now all you have to do is to place your pattern paper on top of your fabric and go ahead and trace it out. Okay, since I'm using these edges, I'm not cutting off this side, I'm only cutting off this side. Sorry, my scissors is very blue. So this is what we have. Now from the thumbnail, what they did was they ran a stitch on the middle part of it to hold it down. So I'm going to run a stitch there and I'm going to run a stitch on the side so that it will lap very well. That's what I'm going to do now. So loves, at this point now, the next thing to do now is to turn out this our yoke with our lining piece. So I've joined my lining piece just the same way I joined the bustier pieces. Okay, so what I have to do now is I'll place this here and place my lining piece. That is, the yoke piece is in between my lining piece and my main bustier. I'm going to hold it down. Same thing for this other side. I'll also keep it. Better still start from center to center to avoid unnecessary start it from center to center. Okay. I had a live before this to work on. I'm gonna have a live after it, okay? I don't think I will again. So now go ahead and run a stitch on it. So after you're done, you have to just flip it out. This is what it will look like when you're done.